Just like to give it a second. Facebook. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Daily Motivation, 365 days of consistency, doing the same things over and over and over again until they become habit. And we are on episode, what is this, 137 lives. Only halfway there. And it's exciting, it's something new, it's something different. And it's something that at first, when I first thought of it, scared me, but I'm glad that, we're doing it. It keeps me consistent, and it keeps me on the ball to say, all right, if I'm consistent in this, what other things can I be consistent in? And so, it's just a mental game. All of this is a psychological mental game once you really understand it. And hey, Jimmy, how's it going? Hey, Terry, how's it going? Again, if you watch this live, I appreciate it. And if you get a chance to watch this later, I also appreciate it. I also appreciate you taking your time to watch this. Hey, Terry. So today I want to talk about something very easy to do, but it's missed very often, even by me, all the time. And I try to be conscious of it now, to how to gain and maintain relationships. Now, hey Jazz, how's it going? Even in relationships, not just relationships in your spouse or your significant other, but relationships even in general. Family members, people that you know, people that you want to do business with, partnerships, clients, customers, just relationships in general, because this life is based on relationship. I like to use the analogy between the trees and the humans. Without trees, humans can't exist, and without humans, trees can't exist. So we are in a relationship. This whole universe is in a relationship. So how to maintain and gain relationships? The number one thing, if you do this, you will see an increase of the connection between you and another. Which is, I learned this the hard way, which is, do all the small things. It's the small things that maintain and gain relationship versus the massive big thing. So I used to think that in order to gain a relationship, especially with a woman, I needed to be extravagant. I need to be extra, right? But I think back into my past that when I used to take women, out on big dates, right? I would get them the flowers, pay for the dinner, get the wine, get the champagne, and all these things. And I always would leave the date upset because the girl was like, "Well, thank you, had a nice time, goodbye." I wouldn't even get a kiss. I'm like, "Girl, I did all this? I didn't even get a kiss?" Until I realized that most women, and I don't want to generalize, but many women, I should say, are not looking for the big extravagant. They're not looking for the movie character. They're not looking for you to swing on a tree like Tarzan. They're just looking for the small things. And I realized every relationship I've ever gained was from the small things. It was never something big that I did. It was the little things. I remember, a girl telling me, "Hey, I started to like you once you did this small thing." And I realized it wasn't the big things that I did. It was the small things. Like, for example, my aunt yesterday, Saturday actually, it was her birthday. And we got a text message early in the morning from one of my cousins. So we called her. And we said, "Hey, happy birthday. How's everything going? Happy birthday. Hey, Rob, thank you for watching. Happy birthday." And I could tell by the phone, her whole face lit up. Her whole demeanor lit up from that moment. And then we had a Zoom call for the rest of my family on Sunday for Mother's Day. And, she shot me out. She's like, "Hey," she even called my mother. I talked to my mother that day, yesterday, and she said, "Oh, Aunt Paulette said you called her in the morning, even before her kids." I'm like, man, we travel fast with our conversations, but it happened from the small things. See, people don't always remember the big extravagant. They don't need it. They just want the small things. Being a person of your word, giving a quick shout out, saying thank you, saying I appreciate it. There's one guy, you may know him, and this is not a name drop. I just want to tell this story because it's significant for what we're talking about today. There's a gentleman named Grant Cardone. And I went out to Miami Beach. I met him, and I gave his two daughters a book of The Nerd Who Saved the Universe. And he was very appreciative. You could tell just in his face. He was like, wow, nobody really does stuff like that anymore. Because I gave it to him directly and handed it to him. And 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, he emails me. I don't even know how he found my address. That's fun. Grant, you're a stalker. I don't even know how he found my address. But one, he found my address. And he wrote me a letter saying thank you for supplying those books for my daughters. And when I got that letter, it's like my esteem for him skyrocketed. Like I respected him that much more because I know he's a busy guy. I know he's on the grind. I know he pushes every day. And for him to take 5 minutes just to write a letter, handwritten, not even just a type, handwritten letter, and find my address and mail it to me shows what type of person he is. Now our connection is that much bigger. I will shout him out on a positive way forever, just for that one small act of the little things, act of kindness for the very small things. And I remember even for my wife, like, we get into these scuffles, and sometimes I notice we don't fight a lot after I do the small things. I remember there was a time period, I'd like to be honest, we were arguing. We were fighting a little bit. It happens in all relationships. And we were arguing, and I was trying to do these big things to save the relationship. I was trying to do all these big things. But then I realized when I just come downstairs, give her a kiss on the cheek, and say, you look beautiful today, it skyrockets our relationship. It skyrockets our relationship. I come over, I give her a little hug and a kiss on the forehead. Just very small. And I could tell her whole day just changes from the very small things. So it was never anything big because I was trying to do big things and it wasn't working. Even when I was trying to, in the dating scene, I was doing big things, it wasn't working. But every time I just looked at a girl in her eyes and said, I just noticed something. You're pretty, even for Jazz, we were dating. I remember this day, it was hilarious. And I'm looking at her in her face and I'm looking at her eyes. I'm like, I noticed. Are your eyes hazel? And she's like, you just noticed that? Oh, gosh. Why she married me, I don't know. But I think we were together for like a year. And I'm like, your eyes are hazel? And I remember her just looking at me like, yeah. But she appreciated the simple fact that, okay, he finally looked me in my eyes. And he's noticing my features. He's noticing about me. You know what I mean? It's not the big things. I didn't have to buy her flowers. I didn't buy her chocolates. I just noticed the small things. Hey, you do something with your hair? Yeah, thank you. Hey, I like your new dress. You noticed. It's those little things that help our relationship maintain and gain. Because you're always dating the person you're with. You're always dating the person you're with. So as I start, what did Jimmy say? Sorry. That's true. I tell my wife every day she's beautiful, and it makes her day. It really does. But you can even translate this for clients and people that you work with, and family members. Just, if I send my sister a text message, hey, just wanted to say hi, I can tell she appreciates that. I call my mother, and I say, hey, just wanted to call and say hello. Oh, hey. They appreciate that. And people appreciate the small things. When you can say, hey, I'm a person of my word. I say it and I do it. That's the small things. When you can give a quick thank you, a quick compliment, that's the small things. When you can say, hey, give that extra mile. I remember I'm sending packages for people that are buying my product, and I put little thank you cards in there and a little sample book. Why? Because I want to go the extra mile. I want to give them, hey, the small things. The small things are what keeps relationship. Me writing somebody a direct letter, say, hey, thank you for joining my course. I appreciate it. Wow, Rich took his time to actually do that for me. That's the things that maintain and gain relationships. So if you're having issues keeping clients, if you're having issues keeping your relationship right, if you're having issues dating person to person to person, if you're having issues becoming somebody that people wants to be around and stay around, it's because we're not doing the small things. I had to learn it the hard way. And I do these messages so you don't have to learn in your own examples, but you can learn from my own. That if we do the little small things, that helps gain and grow your relationship. Because even if you're with somebody, you want to grow that relationship. You want to grow till they say, hey, Rich is like a brother to me, Rich is like a sister to me, or Rich is like a brother to me, and I'm like a sister to them or brother to them. So again, this is Rich Fontaine with Successful Conversations. Either you could agree with me or not agree with me. Either way, I feel that this was a successful conversation. I hope this served you well. If it did, please like, please share, please comment, and let's maintain and gain relationships by just doing the small things. I got to clean the bathrooms today. But that's the small things you do and you sacrifices you make for the people you love and the people you want to keep around your life. Again, I appreciate it. Love is love. Jazz said for me to apologize for having a towel on my head for my last live yesterday, but whatever. I like people to see that, I'm not fancy. I'm not over the top. I'm not above anyone. That, hey, I sweat too. And that we're all in this together. And you take my messages that I'm not talking at you, but I'm talking with you. Love is love. Appreciate all of you. Namaste.